Derelict house. The whisper of Blackwood Manor. The local legends of Blackwood Manor were not the kind told around a cozy fireplace. They were muttered in hushed tones, reserved for the deepest shadows of night, about the architect's madness, the family's untimely end, and the unsettling, absolute silence that clung to its ivy-choked walls. For decades, the place had stood sentinel on a windswept hill overlooking the dreary coastal town of Arkham's Reach, a monument to decay and dread. Elias Thorne, a seasoned paranormal investigator with more skepticism than sense, was exactly the kind of fool the manor was waiting for. He arrived on a Friday evening, the salt-laced air thick with the smell of coming rain and something else, something cold and metallic, like old blood. The threshold. The manor was a sprawling, Gothic nightmare. Its windows, black and empty, stared like sightless eyes. As Elias pushed open the massive oak front door, which groaned a sound of deep, ancient pain, his professional instruments immediately began to fail. His EMF meter flatlined. His thermal camera displayed nothing but a uniform, deep blue chill, refusing to register the warmth of his own body. Inside, the air was dust-heavy and still. The entrance hall was immense, dominated by a winding staircase that disappeared into upper-floor darkness. A faded portrait hung above the mantel, a stern, humorless man with eyes that seemed to follow Elias. This was Lord Alistair Blackwood, the original owner, who, according to the tales, had bricked up his own family in the basement after believing they were possessed by the shadow blight. Elias set up his base in the library, a room lined floor to ceiling with moldering, unreadable texts. He switched on his digital recorder and spoke the mandatory intro, his voice unnaturally loud in the oppressive quiet. Greater than, Blackwood Manor, October 27th. Time, 2100. Initial impression. Unbelievable cold, 0 readings on all electronic equipment. The silence is aggressive. Greater than. That night, Elias tried to sleep on a cot but was kept awake by the relentless silence, a pressure that felt physical. Then, around 3 a.m., the first sound came. It wasn't a bang or a crash. It was a whisper. It was faint, breathy, and seemed to come from inside the walls themselves. It was too indistinct to form words, but it held a quality of unbearable, mournful need. It seemed to drag across his sanity like sandpaper. 2. The labyrinth of memory. Elias spent the next day exploring the labyrinthine structure. The manor was designed without symmetry. Rooms were added haphazardly, hallways branched and dead-ended, and the flow of the building made no sense. It was the architecture of a fracturing mind. He found the children's wing, sealed off by a heavy iron grate. Squeezing through, he entered a nursery frozen in time. A rocking horse stood still in the center.